Hi friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Anna. Today I wanted to sit down and talk to you about something a little personal. And of course, as you understand from the title of this video will be about travel and specifically solo travel. But because this is the theme of my channel, but more specifically about what lessons solo travel gave me or taught me and how it shaped and transformed me as a person. Maybe some of you will find yourself in my reflections, and maybe this video will even become an encouragement or motivation from some of you to try something new, to experience something that you've never experienced before, but something that has a potential to change your life and transform you into a person that you've always wanted to become, better or even the best version of yourself. So without further ado, let's dive in. Travel, and specifically solo travel, more than any other kinds, in my opinion, more than traveling with a partner, with your family, in a group, is going to do. It's going to expand your outlook and make you a more well-rounded and educated person. You gain knowledge through travel, and in my opinion, that's the best way to obtain knowledge, because you obtain it through experience, not through just reading the books. When you obtain your knowledge through experience, there is a better chance that you will internalize it and it will stay with you for a long time, if not forever. Because it's very much different to read about something than truly experience that flavor of the local food, understanding that it's spicy, or seeing that traditional dance by a local tribe with your own eyes, or smelling that morning air on top of the volcano when you climbed it. It's not only enriches your inner world, but it also allows you to share those experiences with others and motivate them, teach them, and essentially it will make you a more interesting person, somebody who people want to interact with. Ask me how much I knew about the types of sloths before I traveled to Costa Rica, and or what I knew about Panama, outside of the Panama Canal, before I traveled to Panama, or the process of winemaking, specifically port winemaking, before I traveled to Douro Valley in Portugal. I'll tell you, not much. Not only I didn't know anything, it wasn't on my mind. I kind of probably would not even try and learn anything about those topics because I did not think about them. You would not necessarily just go and just think, oh, today I want to read about sloths. But through travel, you learn those things and it enriches your inner world. For me also, why I think solo travel expands your outlook more than, or like makes you more knowledgeable than even like through travel just in groups, partners, friends, whatever, is because, for example, for me, before I even start my trip, I do a lot of research. I read, I watch videos, I read reviews, the cuisine, culture, a little bit of history, what places I need to visit. I plan my trip, I learn about cultural peculiarities about the country. So I actually gain knowledge even before studying my trip about topics that I would not necessarily learn about otherwise. And when you travel with somebody, a lot of times it's the reliance on somebody else, and while you certainly will still get out of your travel experience more well-rounded person, but I think like knowledge will stick so much better through, from the planning, when you kind of do everything, read, research, but then also on top of that you experience it. Travel helps you feel more connected to the world. Especially when you solo travel, you are forced to talk to people. You're forced to talk to locals, usually. I'm not saying forced in a bad sense, but we all need some social interaction in general, and when you don't have anybody who is there for you 24/7, you are forced to put yourself out there, to even if you have to ask for directions or what is the best place to eat, things like that, but it still helps you, makes you interact with people. With that, you get an understanding of connection, and you understand that we are all the same people, even when we live in different countries, We might have different cultures, we might speak different languages, but there are a lot more similarities between us than differences, and it makes you more accepting of others. It makes you less suspicious but more curious. And from my experience, people who just don't try to move from their circle that they're used to, even the way, and I'm a foreigner, I live in Chicago, but I was not born in the United States, and I've experienced that myself when other people perceive me as one of them versus us. And I think travel, interacting with locals, and the general curiosity about others would help you to not have that us versus them mentality. I started learning Spanish when I started traveling, because it's the best way to learn and understand the people is, for me, is through talking to them, and especially in their native language. It means a sign of respect. I don't think that when you travel somewhere you need to force others to speak to you in your own language, but you need to at least show some desire to learn their language. Because I know with English being an international language, a lot of times those of us who only know English, we kind of think that that's all we need to know, and the world would be revolving around us, which I don't believe that that's the case. Solo travel helps you understand and respect yourself, and even learn about yourself. You can tell me, like, what do you mean learn about yourself? I am me. Of course, I know myself. And that's what I thought about myself before my solo travel adventures. But in reality, after I reflected on that, I understood that I relied more on others. And I liked what they liked a lot more than what I liked, because I kind of didn't really even think about certain things. Even something simple, I'll give you an example. You know, my ex-boyfriend would ask me, what do I want to eat? And I would just say, well, you know, or what place I want to go out and eat at. And I would just say, whatever, you know, you can decide. And he would decide. And of course, I would like that place. I would just say, yeah, it's great. I probably would have said that if it was completely awful, or the food was disgusting. But on the other hand, that was not my decision. That was not my choice. The reason why that was happening is because I kind of didn't really even want to make those choices. I didn't want to think about them. So I much rather would have preferred to rely on his choices. But that made me difficult to learn about what I actually want versus doing something that other people wanted to do, or doing things that other people liked. When you travel, or when I travel, I try to experience different things, because I do like to understand what I'm gonna enjoy, what I want to do more of on my next trip, and what maybe is not my cup of tea. Without trying them, I can think about them, and I can think, I probably will like this, adventure, but in reality, when I actually do it, maybe I would hate it. So without actually trying, I don't think there's a way to actually understand. So from my experiences, I learned that for example, I don't like museums. I don't like spending all the time indoors on a nice summer day, and looking at old artifacts and reading about them, and I don't think I learned a whole lot. Of course, I still go to museums sometimes, like if I'm in Paris, I go to Louvre, but to see the famous Mona Lisa, but this is not, some people, when they travel to a new town, museum visiting is just one of the things to do for them. For me, I much rather go on a hike. I would much rather talk to a local person over, some local beer than spend half a day in the museum. I understand that I do like adrenaline-filled adventures. I don't like the boring things. I don't like going shopping. For example, when I travel, I think like I live in Chicago, there's plenty of shopping I can do here. So if I'm in London, no, I'm not doing shopping, even though one of the local people told me that London shopping is the best. But no, thank you. I just know that this is not something that I would enjoy. Or I do know that I like trying local food. There's no way that I'll be eating pizza and burgers in every country and city I travel to, because I know many people do, and that's good. If you know that you just would much rather stay kind of in your, that's it. Or maybe you have allergies, or maybe you just really know yourself and you really know you're not gonna like local flavors, it's fine. But it's boring for me. But yeah, good for you, I guess. But honestly, you would never know till you try. So my advice would be to just give it a chance. Just open up a little bit to the world. And with the choices you make, you do gain a lot of respect to yourself, and not because those are the best choices, this is the greatest way to spend your time on traveling, but because you know who you are, because those choices are yours. So this deserves respect, and you will feel it, trust me. Travel, it helps with you with the self-esteem and self-confidence. Self-confidence is not something that you learn through affirmations, or it's not something that you can just go to bed and wake up and just decide that I'm going to be confident from beginning from today. It's not going to happen, unfortunately. Maybe some of you think that way. It's not going to happen. It doesn't matter how much you stand in front of the mirror and say that I'm confident and now I'm a different person. Confidence is something that is learned through behaviors and experiences, and solo travel will give you such a boost that you will not recognize yourself after several trips. Trust me, especially if you have some challenges in your trips that you have to deal with, and I guarantee that you will come out on the other side of whatever that situation is, but you will come out on the other side, literally and figuratively, because then you will not have to stand in front of the mirror and repeat, I'm confident. You will feel it, you will radiate it, and other people will feel it, trust me. You learn to trust yourself, your own navigator, translator, decision maker, planner, problem solver, and sometimes even a therapist when bad things happen, or you learn to console yourself or calm yourself down. Trust me, I had all kinds of situations. I had situations when when I went to Panama, I didn't have cash. I kind of didn't bring cash. I didn't bring a debit card. I was just left with a credit card. It was stressful, but I managed. I figured it out. Similar thing happened to me in Ireland. In Costa Rica, in San Jose, I was approached by two policemen telling me that if I don't go home right then, I probably would be robbed, because apparently I was in a dangerous part of the town. But yes, I'm not gonna say that it's easy and you just don't even think about it. No, but you make some decisions. You quickly change plans, whatever that is. But you come out a winner of whatever the situation that you encounter, because you honestly don't have a choice. You're not gonna just sit there and cry. I hope you won't, or you're not gonna just do something stupid. More likely than not, you will actually just come up with a plan, or you will talk to somebody will help you, and this will boost up your energy, your self-esteem, and with that it's gonna find a reflection in your everyday life, and trust me, you will be perceived as a completely different person. If you honestly met me 6 years ago, you probably would not have recognized me, not physically, but me as a person, my personality. I grew so much, and I think it's a lot of it through reflection and self-work, but I think solo travel helped me tremendously in that exercise, and I'm very happy about who I am right now. Solo travel, it makes you stop waiting, and it makes you take control of your own life. A lot of times we are waiting for the most perfect opportunity, for the most perfect partner, for or friend or time before we do something, and with that we just let somebody or something else have control, and we hope, we pray, we dream, but in fact sometimes what we need to do is just we need to start living, we need to start experiences, we need to make that first step, and this first step will lead to the second and third step, but you just have to do it and gain control of your life. It's powerful, it gives you power. So I think that solo travel makes you powerful. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope this video was helpful or motivating to some of you. I really hope you give it a chance, even if you travel to some neighboring town by yourself, or just after you make a couple trips like that, I guarantee that you will not recognize yourself. The inner work that you will do without even realizing that you're doing some work, it will be tremendous. I'm hoping that you can share with me how solo travel affected your life. And also, if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe, because there will be more videos talking about my travel experiences, travel vlogs, some just sit down videos, reflecting on trips or things that happen or potentially can happen to us during solo travel. So I really appreciate your attention, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.